So this is Al Jazeera, and this is a typical cookie banner asking my permission to say yes or no if we permit them to start tracking my movement. And there you go, look at that. 113 requests in just a few seconds. And okay, granted, a bunch of them actually went to Al Jazeera, but 24 of them went to companies that aren't Al Jazeera. Right, I'm gonna do this 19 more times. Hey everyone, welcome back. I've got a different type of episode for you today. We are going to focus on what I consider a little bit of a gray zone in terms of legality and business. You know, like those pesky consent buttons you have to click, you have to accept or decline as soon as you enter any website. The thing is, everybody thinks that as soon as you click on it, then the trackers start, right? They get the data and they start sharing it with advertising companies, and they basically mine and try and understand your behavior, like where you've been, what you're clicking at, what are you looking at, where your eyeballs accept. But recently I've been seeing a lot of packets of data as soon as I've entered any website. Sometimes even before a website loads, there's already data gone, and I'll show it to you. I made a little software that captures all of this and puts it and keeps it for me so that I can then share it with you guys. In summary, I wanted to know what actually happens in the gap between the page loading and then you deciding anything at all. And you'll be surprised at how much information gets sent out before you've even done. This here is the network tab. Every browser has one. It shows you every single request and every image and every script and every message to a company that you've never heard of. So I'm counting only requests that go to a third party. So not the site's own. So that's why you'll see me sometimes putting in like a minus domain, colon, and then the asterisk, and then the website name. But I put a few rules for myself because it would be easy to make this look like it's worse than it is. And complete honesty, I genuinely was more interested in things like, you know, do the banks follow proper protocol? And you'll see at the end that thankfully that's not the case. So I'm going to open a fresh browser every time so that nothing remembers me. And then I'll like linger about 10 seconds per second. I'm not timing it, so it's not going to be perfect data. And then I'll stop counting that the second I touch the banner and I say decline or accept or whatever it is. And if I couldn't tell whether something was tracking or just the site functioning, I just threw it out. So if like Amazon made, I don't know, like over 290 requests before I agreed to anything, so I discarded 294 of those because they were like Amazon loading its own pictures, for example. So the number I end up getting left with is like, I don't know, I can't remember, it was like 3 or 4. So that's the standard that I'm holding everything to. So I'm testing from Finland, so predominantly what I'm seeing is what a European visitor sees. But I don't know, I genuinely don't know if it's the same if an American visitor sees. But if you go into Fox News, for example, I actually don't get the consent, the cookie bar consent. And that wasn't just for, when you go to Amazon.com, which is the American Amazon or the international one, it actually didn't give me a consent bar. Okay, so we're going through Al Jazeera here, and you're seeing like this thing called secure pubads.g.doubleclick.net. Anyway, that's a Google's ad exchange. So auctions, what it does is it auctions the space that's in front of you. Stats, G, DoubleClick, it's another Google ad measurement. CDN Amplitude, API2 Amplitude, pub network, a.pub.network, and all these other CD, etc. pub.network. These are all ad monetization. I might be wrong, but a lot of these are kind of a little bit of guesswork. If you're really interested, just go in and look up, for example, secure pub ads.g.doubleclick. I didn't consent to any of them because they didn't even ask me. So, and yet look at that, and it's already gone up to them. Okay, so this is where I get a little bit worried, and even when I see that there are things being written onto my computer before I agree to anything, and that to me worries me. That's like, to me, that shouldn't happen. Okay, well, anyway, I'm gonna do it like a super fast, every single website that I went to, 20 of them, but this first one was just to show you what I'm looking at and how I'm measuring them and what I'm thinking of. So check this out. So this is Fox. At the moment, it's the top of the table by company count, and Fox News has like 19 requests. I've threw out all the others. There's like 46 in there, which are specific to Fox. But these are interesting. So you have, I don't know, dpm.demdex.net. I looked it up. So this is an Adobe Audience Manager. Its entire job is basically building a profile of you across sites. See Amazon ads. So Amazon's because like, why is Amazon's ad system on a new site? Anyway, everybody wants to make money, but that's fine. They all want your data. Configs Knotch pics.pub. I think this is also just ad and content analytics. Like, all of this happened and the cookie banner is still there, and I haven't accepted anything, I haven't declined, I haven't said anything. It's just like it popped up and all this is already done. That last one, that Amazon ad system, it also showed up when I loaded Amazon Germany, amazon.de. So it's the same company, same infrastructure, but they're two completely unrelated websites. And that's not even Fox News loading a picture. That's just how your profile gets. Yeah, so 20 sites, 13 of them started sending data to third parties before I even said yes, no, whatever. Before I touched anything, I like loaded and it's already. But I also want to be fair, because at the other end of the table, and if you see that I've got NHS there, I've also got GitHub, I've got some of the major ones that you would hope would never send or allow your information to be tracked or sent to anyone else besides their own. So NHS, 0, freaking awesome. Helsinki University Hospital, so HUS in Finland, it's well known. That's where, that's where all is stored from a patient perspective. 0, fantastic. GitHub, 0, of course. And amazingly, Temu, who I genuinely thought would be one of the worst ones. Temu was like, made 175 requests before I consented, and every single one of those went to its own servers. So that's, but anyway, the point is it proves that it's achievable. You don't have to send your data outside, right? It's not a technical limitation, it's a choice. And then 2 of those, the 7 that I sent, they're a bit close. So eBay, LinkedIn, they both run anti-scraping software that fingerprints your device before you can send. So I put my own website, and not to look clever or anything, but to be honest, I was curious. And I also did think I might be one of the worst detractors of this whole thing. And sadly, 11 requests went through. Google Ads conversion tracking. So DoubleClick did Google Analytics. They're all firing before anyone even agreed to anything. You know, let's be honest, my site was actually the 4th worst on my own list. I should be much more aware of this, and I should fix it, and I will afterwards. But anyway, the point is I didn't know. And I did put a tag manager. Well, I did put a tag manager on it like 18 months ago, but I never looked at what it did after that. I bet like most of the sites in this video are the same story. Like they just did it. It's not malice, just no one's really checking. I might fix it by the time this video is out, or I might not. But now let's come back to like what's really this whole point of this, like the new grade. Is this actually allowed? Or so when you go through the policies, there's some words that they use in there, like this is strictly necessary. You've seen this. This comes up a lot in some of their policies. What is strictly necessary? Why is it strictly necessary? Is it necessary because the country that you're in requires it? Or, and then there's also words like legitimate interest. What's legitimate interest? Like, what? I'm interested in purchasing some fried chicken. So now, because of that legitimate interest, it gives them the right to track and understand what I'm looking at. That's up to me though, right? I don't know. It's a bit of a gray zone. And then what would be nice is to probably go in and look at like, what is the actual enforcement? Can you go after them? Can they enforce this on you? Again, I don't know. I think the honest bottom line is how much of this is unlawful versus how much of this is just, being aggressive marketing and aggressive data mining. And in any case, and like why nothing happens either way when it comes to Okay, so then this brings us to hopefully the bit that's the most useful in this video for you guys, and that is 3 things that you can actually do. So 1 is open the network tab before you click the banner, and then right click, inspect, network, reload the page, and then watch the list. So you don't need to understand any of it. You just need to see how long it is before you agreed to accept anything or decline anything, and how much data is already being sent. If that even matters to you. Like, I'm just making a thing here, but I think for some people it really does matter. Anyway, secondly is check the application tab for cookies. It's the same panel, next tab along. If there are cookies sitting there and you haven't clicked accept, then you now know exactly what the banner is worth on that site. And then 3, maybe you can check the places you assumed were fine. So for example, I assumed the hospital was fine, and it was. The worst results usually, but I found with the 20 that I looked at, it's the news sites. They are, worst, relatively speaking to what we're doing. But the people whose entire business is telling you what's true were the ones running the trackers before even saying hello. So I don't know, that's like, makes me wonder a little bit. Anyway, so all 20 are on the index with their numbers, and their raw captured files are there too. So if you want to check my work, go for it. And we even have a whole bunch of ways to protect yourself. We have a blog that shows you how to protect yourself from being scammed, as well as sites that may be scam sites, and what to do if you think you've been impacted by them. It was great having you here this week. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll try and think of a few more gray zone type ideas and share them with you guys, and then potentially give you solutions as well. So have a great day, and I'll see you again another time. Peace.